Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Spy Check podcast. Where a fan, dang it, I messed up. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Spy Check podcast, where a group of super fans of Survivor get together and talk about the latest episode of Survivors, Millennials versus Gen X. With me, like always, is Mark. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
And Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Unfortunately, Kim is not able to be with us today, but hopefully she'll be back with us next week. First off, before we continue, I would like to go ahead and thank everybody who's been liking and viewing our recaps this season. Thank you very much. Keep in mind, you can also catch us on nerdfeed.com and our iTunes and podcast feeds should be up to date again after this week. Only the first week is on there. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment on the actual video to let us know how you're doing and what you guys think how we can make this podcast better. All right, guys, let's talk about episode 4. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. At the end of last week, we see that Paul goes home, and I feel like this was a little bit more of an extended post tribal here of the Gen X. What did you guys think of the conversation going on back at camp?
Well, uh, thought that Chris and Brett, they have every right to be pissed, but it sort of reminded me a little bit like they went, "What? That's not what we were supposed to do." I mean, at least they weren't. It sort of reminded me of what happened when I can't remember who went, but Julia was really Julia from last season was really in the dark, and then in her confessional, she said something like, she said they made another alliance without my knowing of it. I'm like, honey, that's a blind side. Like it was sort of like that, but with just like what the just happened.
Yep.
I thought you got rid of our leader and and then I think the big laugh of the two laughs. One of them was actually weird, and one of them is a laugh. The one weird thing about especially with Modern Survivor, when the day starts up, the screen is in the pictures in sepia,
Yeah,
which
I was
is
gonna say it.
really weird. Like, go to Oz already. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wonder how early they got up to actually film that because there's got to be a reason why it was that in that filter, right? I mean, it can't just be that they just decided to change it up a little.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason. And the big laugh before they went to the 3 seconds that they're allowed to play of ancient voices. The last thing we hear from Chris is they need to get rid of Jessica and zap her ass.
Mark, what did you think of the post tribal?
I mean, yeah, I mean they blindsided Chris and Brett pretty good, and I'm glad they just kind of left them alone, unlike Hannah did last week. Um, so yeah,
I I noticed that Chris was a little bit more upset than Brent was.
Brett.
He actually had a confession where he was like he felt like getting the rice and throwing it onto the ocean, and just pretty much just going nuclear
Mm.
on them.
Yeah, only
Um,
Oh,
Sandra can do that.
yeah,
And
uh,
she went, I dumped the fish.
but
Whatever
because
she
he
did.
and the thing with Chris is that he almost he just did he was kind of being like Zeke where I don't even want to talk about it, but when he sees Jessica talking to Brent, he go, okay, let's talk about it. And so I mean, I get that he was upset, I understand he was upset. um I don't know if he talks most of the time like that because we don't get too much time with the Gen Xers. Most of the time, it's they're millennials, and most of the interesting stuff is other than millennials. But yeah, I thought that was a little bit interesting.
yeah.
Um, I mean, the sepia thing, I guess it was interesting. But like I said, that's got to be a reason why it was done in that filter. I don't know if it was just really early
I
in the
thought
morning.
you said something about Vesepia before, but no, you're saying sepia.
Sepia, yeah, that's just the way I say it. uh,
Yeah,
what's it
I don't
called?
know when the earliest example I can think of them using that is probably Philippines.
I don't remember.
When
I
it
know they've
was
used it before, but I don't remember exactly when they use it. And it's got to be that it's way too early for proper light to be for the cameras. But then they usually use night vision.
hmm
So I
Yeah.
don't know. But I mean that's pretty much all that happened after the tribal. We do see the girls kind of saying, "Did we do the right thing?" With Lucy right away saying, "You know, you can't go think about that. Just move on from here and stuff." And
her.
I'm sorry,
Is that a person, Lucy?
Lucy. That's our fifth host here on the show. She'll get one
I
line
was
later on.
unaware.
She'll get a one line
I was.
later on a couple of years from now.
I miss producer.
I do like how and when I say like, I think it's actually just as being sarcastic, and I think it's ridiculous how Lucy automatically starts blaming Jessica that she started implanting thoughts in her head that and that she's too power hungry, so she has to take care of it and make a power move herself, pretty much. So like, oh, I'm
This
gonna.
is an Inception.
That's like, you're too power hungry, so I'm gonna take power from you instead. I'm like, okay. So yeah, so that's the end of the post tribal, and we get over to the Millennials camp, and we have Adam who I think I missed something from last week, and it might have been because I was tweeting or writing notes or something. Apparently, the shell came out last week, and as Adam was passing by, which was kind of a hint that it was going to be him who found it or something. Did any of you two catch that?
No, last week was
No.
just so. I mean, you saw how we, or rather, for the listeners, you heard how off topic we got and whatnot because the episode was
Boring.
just boring and
Well,
funny.
I was hearing that it happened, that the shell happened to come out in the background, or that the camera zoomed in. I missed it. I don't
Well,
remember that happened.
Michelle wasn't even in this episode at all this
Michelle, not
today.
Michelle, the
This
shell.
oh the shell.
So,
Same thing. Same thing.
no,
I can't even remember inanimate objects.
yeah, no, like I said, I don't know. I didn't see it, but people were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I guess I missed it. Must have been tweeting or something. And I remember there was other people who said another about other aspects is like, did something happen? Did this happen? Because it's all of a sudden it's um, I was tweeting and all of a sudden something happened. Well, yeah. Well, last week it was one of those things where I was tweeting or writing a text or writing notes, and I really wasn't paying attention because there was not much going on last week. So yeah. Well, apparently that happened, but Adam finds not the idol itself right away, but he finds the clue, and that's weird. I think it's weird that the clue is just hidden in the middle of a tree. The way it was is kind of just like it's just got stuck in there. Someone just decided to put it in there for not even trying to hide it, but whatever.
Tears.
But whatever. But we were talking about earlier how the tribe finds the or sees a goat, and everyone decides to go off except for Adam. And of course, we're gonna follow Adam because he's going after the idol.
Yeah, about that. But I got to give credit where credit is due, and I apologize if I mispronounced this person's name. Vic Shetty. Vic. I'm sure people who are in groups they'll know because everybody's connected and whatnot. He made a very very good point on one of the survivor groups here that yeah, and I would like to go further on that. Really, you had two different stories going on here. The rest of the tribe, they felt like they want to go out hunting. There was even that little mildly amusing thing with I think it was Figgy with her buff up to her nose and going, "Yeah, let's go kill a pig," channeling her inner Scoopin from Outback. And they were going to go see see if they could find the goat. And I mean, it did have promise. I mean, if anybody remembered the look on Will's face when they saw the goat, I think I laughed out loud. So he had two different things going on. We could have seen them get the goat, or at least try to. There probably could have been some hilarious hijinks that ensued. But no, we got to go see Adam and his uh, idol clue.
Well, this is season two. We are definitely going to with the tribe to try to catch that goat because remember in Australian Outback we have Scoopin trying to get that pig, and I believe he fails a couple times right before he actually gets him. I'm not sure if he actually fails, but I know he's chasing him, and then finally he's able to get the pig. But now that they have the idol in play, and since Adam decided to take this moment to try to get away and try to use it, of course we're going to follow Adam.
Or maybe nothing became of the goat chase.
Yeah, maybe they gave up pretty fast.
I mean, I tried looking in the secret scenes and the confessionals, and there's one confessional of Jay going, "Oh, he just saw this goat, and yeah," and he really didn't go anywhere else with it. Like, I want to know what happened. I mean, if nothing happened. So, in a nutshell, they yada yada. What
Even if they
this big person is saying, they yada yada the goat. And there are so many jokes you can make about that. They're chasing a goat.
well,
Which are
even if
very
you even if you don't show the what happened with the goat, because like I said, they might have just given up right away. But at least say some have the tribe say like, oh, we failed to get or have someone that went on that trip to kind of give us a little. Tell us, goes, well, we tried to do this and then it backfired or whatever, we I don't know, something just to kind of tie it all together.
hmm
Hmm.
And the thing with Adam with finding his clue, the weird thing was that he started crying about it, and then he finds out, oh, it's a clue.
Yeah, he thought it was an idol. So let me ask you guys this, Mark. Good
Yep.
idea, bad idea to separate yourself from the tribe, knowing that um, that might put you in a bad position. Not taking into consideration that he's already on the bottom.
Um, I it is a bad thing if not considering you're already at the bottom of the tribe, but knowing that you're at the bottom of the tribe, it doesn't really matter anymore. You have to go all out. And unfortunately for him, he gets spotted by Hannah of all people.
Well,
Well, that's a little bit later on.
late.
Yeah,
That's a later. We'll
Okay.
get to that later.
yeah. That Aaron, what do you think about that?
Um, I mean, if he's such a diehard fan, I would wonder what his favorite seasons are. Go chase the goat. There could be some really funny moments there. But okay, I mean, whatever I'm not out there. You know, whatever he wants to do. I mean, he did it. I'm sure they noticed, hey, where's Adam? They probably already knew where he was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, later,
Yeah.
like Mark said, later on we see Hannah come like, "Hey, how's you doing?" But we'll talk about that in a
Yeah,
little
well,
bit.
later.
But
Because just to mention
personally,
about this episode I found to be quite funny.
yeah, this is way better than last week's episode already.
Mhm.
Just the beginning,
Mhm.
and I think just the tone of it felt a little bit better. But personally, as someone seen the game fair from my couch, and analyzing it without ever being out there, I feel like it was a bad move to go out there. But at the end of the day, we didn't see any confessionals where they're saying that they were distrusting of Adam or thinking that Adam even has the idol itself. So at the end, they might have not been a big deal about it. So it could, but it can easily turn to a situation. Let's say you're out there day one, like Ty last season, where he's out there and gets caught, and all of a sudden he's going from being maybe trusted to being the person that they might want to get rid of because you're looking for that idol. And of course, like David, where all of a sudden he gets, he's they're already after him because they know that he has an idol. And we'll talk about a little bit more later, but these people, the Gen Xers, they actually kind of know that he might already have an idol. um, but we'll talk about that when we talk about Gen X in a little bit. So for me, I think I would hold off on going out, but I think I would have actually done it. It's kind of that expectation versus reality kind of thing. I expect myself not to go out and look for it when everybody's together, but reality is probably I probably would. So anything more that we're missing? Nothing other than those two things happened there at the beginning of the show with millennials.
No, let's get to the fun reward challenge.
Yeah, the reward challenge. I like this reward challenge. It hasn't. I don't think it's been played in quite a while now. It's not a new one. It's an oldie but goodie, and
Well, it was a little different because
yeah,
I don't know if they had it. I don't know if they had this planned, but you saw the oceans. The tide was high for that one, and I
yeah,
think it may have unintentionally benefit came into. You know, I think it was actually a good thing in the end
yeah,
for some of the tribes, and it just made it even funnier. Just like Probst is giving his commentary. Oh no, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. And then you could just see them. The water's almost over their heads,
yes, yes.
and it was just. I was cracking up the whole time. I'll just go off on here and just get it out there of the things that I found, because this is where I found the most laughs in the episode. Yeah, I don't know if it made it a lot harder or easier, maybe a little bit of both. Um, the first score, I mean, the first goal that was scored was by David, and how he did that was because Chris was tied up with two other people, and it was sort of anticlimactic just looking at David with his, uh, scrawny, skinny body just making his way up over to the post and just
Barely making
tap,
it there. Yeah,
tap. That made me
I
laugh.
kind of felt like Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Hmm. Taylor, when Probst announced the match, he said, "Okay, it's so and so up against so and Taylor," and Taylor just made some sort of noise, and Jeff said, "A very excited Tyler," or something, or something like. Then there was one shot of David when Ken was going out there, and There's one shot of David with his hands up, and he's going, "Go Ken!"
He's
And
got a fan.
it just looked so out of place and weird, uh, and then the two big things that happened, which I have in all cap letters here. Okay, first of all, Michaela took her top off
I
because
what I liked is Randy
Mhm.
Bailey. He tweeted out and goes, "Did Michaela say she was most like Sugar? Because you know how
I can't.
heroes and villains where Sugar takes her top off when Sandra unclips her top to get her to stop from winning."
I would think that she's both at once because it was not Sugar's decision to have her top off.
Well,
It was
it looked like Lucy had her back of her top to hold her off, so she kind of just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, and then she she kind of just takes it off.
Man, she ended up getting the goal.
Yeah, she winds up getting it.
And
Um,
then her later confess, which is just it's just worth mentioning because really nothing else. So I mean, aside from what we're going to talk about later, Michaela's confessional later of her logic and that she was just used to it or just getting wet or something. And then her logic was they about to see some tatas.
I like Michaela more and more every single episode, and it's when the season first started, I thought maybe her attitude was gonna get under my skin, but I like it. She's a good character. I like that she's strong, and she's pretty much the one that won the points for the millennials when the women were out there. She just dragged the Gen X women to that post, and
And then yeah. hmm
yeah.
And then the big moment, which we all know that I was looking forward to. The ocean sent a message to Probst, uh, and it was at the end where, before you could say that, Takali, or as he likes to call them, the Gen X tribe, had one reward. And he's just sort of pushed back, and I made a GIF of it already, and it's just back at home. At home, I was cracking up the entire. Michaela taking her top off, I was cracking up. Probst, even though it was shown in the previews, just seeing how he was in mid sentence, it's almost as if. I mean, there are many things that the ocean could be. I mean, we don't know what the ocean's thinking. Maybe it's sending a message to Jeff that he should shut up. that there's nothing new about this season idea, or that final twos are better. That is talk show. I mean, there are many possibilities of what the ocean was thinking, but whatever it did,
The one thing I like is who was it that went in at the end for the millennials? Because it was David and Chris, and it was Zeke and was it Taylor? No, it was what's his name?
Jay.
Jay. It was Jay, right? Because he goes, they're about to go into the water and goes like, "Let's go, Hulk," and they kind of fist bump each other. And I shared this on Twitter with some people that I'm in. They put me on the Survivor chat with them, and it's Eric Reichenbach does this cartoon for the Steven Fishbach article on what is it? I forgot the name. What magazine he writes for?
People.
Yeah, for people, and it's a big giant Chris, and it says Chris hangry, and we see him holding in his arm. It's David with the little donut thing, and he says, "Let's go, Hulk," and you see the other guys just like just in the background, kind of like, um, just not more. I'll try to put it in the video here, is just so y'all can see it. But Eric Reichenbach does these pictures, and they're normally pretty funny. So yeah, one thing that I did notice is that they didn't show the reward actually being consumed like they always do.
That was one of the secret scenes, actually.
Oh really? Okay, yeah, because I remember I think it's the first time that reward happens and we're not back at camp with them and we're not actually seeing what's going on, which I get we don't really necessarily need. It is a little bit about the show that we kind of usually get, we're used to it, but I don't think I can hear a lot of people complaining that we didn't see the reward happening, especially like in Australia where they have like 30 minutes of just seeing them people eat their rewards of their Hungry Jack or aka Burger King.
I miss the whole product placement in Survivor. As long as it's not
That's
Jack
another. That is another
not,
thing that has gone away from Survivor. And do you remember the last time that it was heavily product placement?
probably with 7-Up,
Well, no,
with One World,
that's still
because
recent though.
they gave the 7-Up. It was the 7-Up Oasis, and then during the commercial breaks, they had the survivors come back and say what was their 7-Up moment, yeah. And then cue to CeeLo singing some god awful song. And
wait, there was a moment in, was it Cambodia? Yeah, I think it was Cambodia where I think Joe found the clue inside a bottle, or who am I thinking of?
If it was in a bottle, then that was Worlds Apart.
It was a guy who found it.
Yeah, it would have been Joe, and I remember it being in Worlds Apart.
Okay, yeah, 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 it was okay. So yeah, so yeah, but I'm talking about hardcore product placement because remember we used to get cards, we used to get Home Depot coming in and sponsoring challenges, and I remember that when the concept of Cook Islands came out, a lot of sponsors
I was
dropped
about to
out.
say.
A lot of
I was
sponsors
gonna
dropped out,
say. Hmm.
and that's when I know. I think Cook Island still had some sponsorships, but from there, I think it started waning down. So we still have like you said, Seven Up. We've had chocolate. I think I forgot who's been sponsoring the chocolate some at times. I think Hershey's. Um, but we've had their sponsorships, but even that's kind of gone away now.
But then you get the bad ones with what Gulliver's Travels
Oh yeah,
in Nicaragua, and then
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill in South Pacific.
I don't
Ooh, Jack
mind.
and Jill.
I don't mind product placement in Survivor because that's how part of the way they pay for the stuff. What I
Okay.
hate though is like that those times where they do the Seven Up or whatever, and everybody's like so surprised and so exaggerated in their way of loving Seven Up, and each one has to kind of explain how happy they were at drinking Seven Up.
They're
Um,
selling a product.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, I don't mind product placement, but don't try to sell it that everyone loves it because I know not everybody loves Seven Up. Um, but yeah, I guess that is just it makes it faker to me. It makes it look like it's scripted, and of course, I think pretty sure those parts are a little bit scripted. I just prefer to see regular, standard reactions to the rewards rather than something that was probably scripted for them.
Hmm.
All right. So, anything you want to add on to the reward challenge, Mark, Aaron?
No, I think we can go over to the next part, which would be Idle Hunt 2, Wrath of Khan.
So, so this is what Mark was talking about a little earlier, and since you brought it up, what was your reaction to Hannah coming out and finding? Um, Before we actually talk about Adam's finding the idol, but what was your reaction to Hannah coming out and pretty much discovering Adam out there, Mark?
Oh, I just thought like it's kind of, she's like one of those characters that kind of like walks in at inopportune times, like in like a sitcom. So I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, typical Hannah.
What I was looking for, because I actually tweeted at her, and I go, I love that how Hannah is this person where, and then the GIF that I ended up adding was is like Doctor Who, and it's like good luck, bro, or well, good luck, whatever, and he's like pointing his thumbs up. But I was actually looking for a GIF with a GIF with uh, from the Truman Show where it's Jim Carrey just waving at the neighbors. That's kind of how I felt with
Good
her.
evening,
Yeah.
good evening. Yeah, I saw before it was taken down by Netflix. I
Yeah,
think
so
about a couple of days ago. Yeah, I watched it.
and this that scene there, it that's why I like Hannah so much is that she's so oblivious of like how she's acting out there, but she's having fun even though she might have her missteps. I think she's having fun out there, and I like her that she's just acting like the way she normally acts. I don't think she's trying to put up an act. Like,
Yeah,
so
that was making me laugh
yeah.
when Adam, how's your Idaho going? All right, well, good luck.
Shut
And
up.
it's and I thought Adam would get away with it. And the other funny thing was that it was already a little funny because Adam was already saying some weird things about where, like the clue where the idol was. It's in a shell and it's back at the tribe's peak, or I can't remember what the clue. And he's just repeating the clues to himself in these different voices and whatnot. And as I said before, I looked at. We have a little in one of the survivor groups. We have a photo album, and a thread even before then of that's devoted to high school pictures of Survivor
Contestants.
contestants. And I looked up some for this season, and I found a bunch from Adam during his junior year. And yeah, he was in an awful lot of acting classes. So we're gonna expect to see him being the actor. I mean, with his unprecedented confessional, we're gonna see a lot of dramatic ones from him. And then
So
the tone sort of changes after that. It goes from being really silly, and I remember looking on the live thread, and people were going, "Wow, mood shift."
yeah, and before, even before this, I think we kind of had a foreshadowing of this when he found the clue, because he's like, I think he said something that this his mom would love for him to find this, and then that's when he finds out that it's not the idol, it's the clue, and it's very touching. What Adam says, and what and because this is not just it's not only someone who is whose family or family member is sick. This is somebody who watched Survivor, who grew up watching Survivor with his mother, who is now out there playing and pretty much living out what they were both doing or loved to do growing up. You know, and I know, Aaron, you had some comments about that scene. When
Yeah, it almost got me. Like, you guys, tears. I was almost getting. I was teensy tiny bit close, just thinking about. I mean, it's obvious you would get upset over something like that. You would get emotional over something like that. But then thinking about him and where he's coming from and whatnot. Yeah, with me, I lost my father when I was 9. With Adam, at the time that they were filming that season, she was still alive, actually. She was still, but I guess she encouraged him to just go out there. And from what I'm
well,
reading, 2 days after the season was done filming, Adam's mother passed away.
oh wow, I didn't know that
Oh
part.
no. Oh
So
god.
see, that adds a little bit more, adds a little bit more um,
Mm-hmm.
dimension to this, and I really, well, actually, I was gonna hope that maybe they would have let her see this, or like in advance to let her see it. But if it happened 2 days afterwards, it's wow, wow.
This is what I'm thinking. But let me complete what I of how I could relate to Adam a little. I mean, he's a teensy tiny bit older than me. He's 25. I will be 25 in October 23rd. So he's a little ahead of me, but and obviously he's lost his mother at a older age, whereas me, I've lost at a younger age. But months after my dad passed, I discovered Marquesas. I watched the first episode of Survivor Marquesas, and I've always credited Survivor as sort of therapy uh, in that first year that my dad passed, and it's still therapy to me. And that's why I get all upset when we get really dumb twists like Legacy and Medallion of Power or whatever. But it no matter what, it's always been. I think I said to the point where, yeah, it's therapeutic unless it's All Stars or Redemption Island, then it's torture. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I could sort of connect with Adam on that one. And my thoughts, as to my thoughts of how that went with his mother dying 2 days after it finished up, I'm starting to think if it was. I mean, we don't know when Adam finishes. So if he were voted out pre-jury, he probably doesn't go on the trip.
yeah. I'm pretty sure they'll let him go home.
Yeah. If he's on the jury, yeah, they'll probably leave him there, or they'll probably have a really weird jury of 8, or it'll be a weird number. But I'm thinking if at any point that he did get there late and he could talk to his mom, I'm sure that Burnett and people would just say, go. Because with Survivor, when you go back, you're not, you can't tell anybody anything.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell even your family, your friends. No, you cannot tell them because they're going to tell somebody else, and then they're going to tell their friend, and so on and so on. So I'm thinking about that scene in Wayne's World too, where well, they tell their friends, and so on and so on. I'm thinking that Burnett and company. I mean, we really don't know the story yet, but I'm thinking that Adam gets to see his mom, and I think they would have allowed for him to lift the secrecy,
Mm-hmm.
but get everybody else out of the room, get everybody else out, whichever hospital. Just leave it to him and his mom, because Adam's going to keep his mouth shut, and everything that his mom hears is not going to get passed on because she's going to die. So it'll die with her, and she can know that about the experiences.
Yeah, I hope that they allowed him to talk to her about it.
I think they would.
Yeah, I don't see them being that over that. I can't say overprotective because I know they are very overprotective about their secrets and all, but I would think that they would allow him to do it. Um, so yeah, very emotional scene for Adam, and hopefully, um,
And do we know the fact that Adam and his mom would have, according to them, they were considered for San Juan del Sur?
oh really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, and it did not happen because of his mom's sickness. So they
Yeah,
remembered Adam and saved him.
not in the same kind of light, but there was another supposedly there's another cast member here in this season that was supposed to or might have been a backup for Korong, which was I don't know if it was Jay or it was Taylor, one of those two. They were like a backup player in case someone dropped out or someone didn't make it out to the island. So I think that was Mari that said that, but we don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
Um, so let's before we go talking about the immunity challenge, we have a scene where we see Lucy talk to David and Ken, and hashtag. I don't even know this is the part that she says it, but it's hashtag Tiger Mom coming out of her shell because, well, I mean, last week she had one line on the episode that was not a confessional, but yeah, it was a line. And then this week, all of a sudden, she is all over the place, which we've already said and we've already noticed that if you haven't been seen before, and all of a sudden you're talking and confessional after confessional or confessional after scene and then confessional, yeah, that's not a good thing for that to be happening. So, what did y'all think of? Let's say, Mark. What did you think of Lucy going up and talking to David and Ken the way she did?
Oh, the way she did it was it. I had to cover my eyes because it was just it was so tragic from beginning to end. The way she talked to them, what she said to them, the whole thing was just a big giant slow motion train wreck. It was epic. It was fantastic, and just looking at their facial reactions while she was talking to them just made that scene so much better.
I've seen this done. I've seen what she's done. See what she did done before and work, but because not the way she did it. Because she was like, we can do this. You guys don't have to worry about it. Your name's not being brought up. You're safe. I can't tell you what a name right now, but don't go talking about anybody about this. Uh, I mean, usually if you're being someone's coming up to you goes, we're gonna do this and this, don't talk to anybody about it. One of two things: it's either they don't know what's going on yet, or they're just trying to persuade you to think that they're on your side when they're gonna just do something else. Reminds me a little bit of Survivor Australian Survivor. I keep trying to call it Survivor Australia, but it's Australian Survivor with what's her name talking to Katie, Phoebe talking to Katie, and she's like, "Look, we're gonna do this, this, this. Don't talk to anybody else. Don't let them persuade you." And right away, Christy was like, yeah. Why is she telling me this? Why is she telling me not to talk to anybody? Why is she so adamant that I better not talk to somebody else? You know." So I see the side of David and Ken saying, "Well, why can't we talk to anybody else?" And for Ken, it's more of a manners kind of a thing. He didn't like that she just came up and just bossed them around when they were, she's trying to help him supposedly. But I feel the way Lucy talks is something that would have rubbed me the wrong way. And if she talked the whole time that way, she would have been on my nerve from day one.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add on to that, Aaron?
Well, I think I mentioned last week that amongst, if anybody made it that far, I don't know. We really got off topic last week. The week that we got off topic, I mentioned a little bit that that watching the pre-show interviews, Lucy was in my like column. And this is just based on the pre-show interview, like not just them as a character. I'm not making any predictions as to how far they're going to make it or if they're going to win. Again, I don't like to have a winner's pick. My strategy is to try and like as many people as possible, so then I don't get upset with the winner. I'm usually happy with the winner. I think there's probably like a couple of times where I haven't, like Amber, or usually when it's the All-Star season. See the trend there, that it's the All-Star seasons. But with Sylvia, I mean, I'm all for there being. I mean, especially now. I mean, there's more male winners than women winners in Survivor. I would like to see. I mean, we just had a female winner last season. I wanted to see, I want to see, strong female characters, which I think we've gotten the last couple of seasons, especially with Cass, Natalie Anderson, Jen from Worlds Apart, Debbie, obviously, and Lucy. I just thought, I like her, but then when she didn't speak for that the first one or two episodes, I just thought, oh no, she's not going to be there for long. And then when I saw that she spoke, or that they acknowledged that she existed in the third episode, I thought, oh, well, maybe it'll turn around. No.
It was the kiss of death, yeah.
Yeah. So really nothing else to say about that. It's just
going on to the immunity challenge. Before we even talk about the actual challenge, Mark, what did you think of this challenge?
I actually like this challenge. It's something that I actually enjoy watching. I was just surprised that the word puzzle took them so long. They had to time lapse through it.
Yeah. Aaron, what did you think of this challenge?
Yeah, same thoughts as Mark. That I liked it. There were some parts that got me confused, and with what numbers they were, which ones they had to get.
Did they actually explain that they had to go from 1 through 30 in order?
Not in the rules explanation part.
Okay, because I was like, wait, this is what they just have to go up there and grab random 10 numbers. So I mean, what the hell? That was part of why.
If they wanted to grab one, if they could just grab as many numbers as they can. Well, okay, well, I'm taking the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why it didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, this is stupid. When I first heard it, and then when they actually started, and they're like, then Jeff explains you're gonna grab 1 through 10 in order. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
It kind of reminded me of the challenge in which I think it was used in Panama and Samoa, where person's in the cradle
Yes.
and they're grabbing the flags. I remember when that happened in Panama, and the family was coming in and watching it, and they were going, "What the hell is going on?" I don't know. And then Samoa, Natalie was a goddess at that challenge, and this was sort of a variation of that, except it looked like again like one of the. I just thought it looked like one of the rides over in Wildwood or at the boardwalk.
Where? Uh,
Yeah, Wildwood Beach, Cape May, where my maternal grandmother lives, and we go over to the boardwalk a lot. I don't go on the rides, but it was one of those. I don't know what they call it, the Jack in the Box, or it just you go up and then whoop, go all the way down and up. I mean, they have a bigger version of it, which no, I'm thinking of the kid. It just sort of reminded me of that you're sitting in a big chair, and I think they call it the challenge angry chair. I'm just thinking about a little bit about Shane. I don't know,
Angry. This
but
is my
I
chair.
want to go get another one. This one. So it was interesting to watch. I mean, I did find myself confused a little, and the whole puzzle part of it and the elapsed time brought back memories of Worlds Apart. But at least Probst wasn't giving them hints, which I thought was funny in Worlds Apart. That was
He's like, okay,
like,
guys, come on.
you know, you get this, this, and this. It's a phrase that I use, or something like this one. He just sort of stayed back, and I mean that is a pretty big
So along
puzzle
during
there.
that part of the challenge is where another thing that well, not another thing, but one of the things that I've been saying all this season, and even going back to other theme seasons, is the whole forcing the theme on us. Uh, and I know Aaron was very animated about this commentary, where he's like, the Gen X tribe is doing it this way, millennials are doing it this other way, and it's gonna happen every single time there's a theme season when you're splitting the tribe based on the theme. The brains are taking care of it this way. The blue colors are taking care of it this way. It while I don't mind giving them that kind of thing when you're giving them choices on what to do, like in Worlds Apart, the very first challenge, at the very end, they had to choose the difference between three different challenges. I mean, three different puzzles, and they chose one. Then maybe you can kind of use it. Well, maybe the Blue Claw tribe did it because of this, or even at the beginning of this season, where the tribes had a choice between taking the easy way out or taking it the hard way. Maybe then you can try to use the whole tribe breakdown and using why they did this and why they did that. But when it's just a puzzle or a word jumble or whatever, stop. Just stop.
Like you're
Stop
not
forcing it.
doing this isn't a university study probes, it's just Survivor.
And I get that Survivor started off kind of like that, and that's actually the aspects that I've always loved of Survivor.
Oh
We've
yeah,
talked
it's a
about this
social
before.
experiment.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. I love the two different people. The people coming from two different worlds and come together and meeting up like they did in Borneo with Richard and with Rudy, and people who would never meet each other getting together, talking together, becoming friends, becoming allies, and getting far in the game together, or betraying each other at the end. But that is the part that I want to see. That's what I want to see on the show. And
I
now
wish we still
and
see a little bit of
a
it,
little bit of it,
but
but now it's more gameplay, which I don't mind
yeah,
gameplay, but I still kind of want to see that connection because that was what really brought me into the show. it's not that I'm gonna say if I don't see it again, I'm gonna stop watching because I love Survivor, but that is what brought me in. That's what I would like to continue seeing. Unfortunately, we're on a new kind of era of Survivor, and that's not what we see most of the time.
I just think back to when trying to not go on too long about the whole thing of strategy. And I mean, I'm looking at videos of even kids that are probably like 12 or 13 years old, so they weren't around when the first season was on, which is actually kind of terrifying. But
Yeah.
just see, there's some videos online. I won't give any names. There's just people on there, and they're giving their rankings of each season and winner rankings, and they're really ranking it by like, oh well, this person didn't do a lot, so I'm ranking them this low. And you can't rank the winners because every season's different.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the seasons, it's more. There was one where they said, "Well, we haven't actually seen the season." Oh, you haven't?
So you can't rank them.
So you can't rank. And then they're more looking at it, the strategic way, which I was sort of doing. I think it's the way that Survivor's been presenting itself, that strategy is the way to go in Survivor. When just think back to each finale. Who did you want to win going in, and why did you want them to win? If you go back to the early seasons, you probably just wanted a person to win just because you liked them.
You like them or they didn't screw you over. Because
When
sometimes there'll be
so,
two people
mhm.
who hate you hate, but one screwed you over, one didn't. So,
When with the recent seasons, you're probably thinking, "Oh well, I thought this person was the most strategic," and whatnot. When strategy doesn't really translate to that, the jury likes you.
well, I mean, let's not forget there. Even though props say there is no such thing as a bitter jury, we know there's
They are
bitter juries.
entitled to be
Yeah,
bitter.
yeah. I mean, and that's part of the game. That is part of the game, and that is why Russell, when he was like, "This game is flawed," someone like me should not have to worry about all that. But guess what? That is part of the game. Part of the game is you meeting these people, and getting along with these people, and have them vote for you. The game is not flawed. You know,
Now, getting back to the immunity challenge.
we went off topic there, but it kind of
I
goes back.
want to mention one thing that made me laugh during the immunity challenge. When David went through the course and whatnot, and he approached his commentary during David doing the high stepping. David doing the high stepping, just like high school football. Really, Probst? Really?
Hashtag
And
irony.
seeing David do the high stepping was actually quite funny. But it's just his commentary like that. It's not as bad when in One World when they were doing the quote unquote backyard games, and these contestants just sucked at playing the old backyard game of throwing a coconut against a trampoline. And Probst is just commenting, "My nephew could do this better than any of you." Like, I don't give a crap about your nephew, Probst. it's just, it's just
Okay.
commentary, but that made me laugh. Where he was just, I mean, some of it's just so it pisses me off, but it makes me laugh. So yeah, it's like high school football.
So let's get to the end of this one, and we see that millennials are the ones that are able to figure it out. And what was the? Do you remember the saying? Someone is getting their flames, or what was it? Someone is losing their flame tonight, or something like that.
Someone's losing their flame,
Yeah, something like that.
which is kind of
Um,
ironic because that's not the case for them. For the tribe that wins it, it's for,
exactly. Yeah. I thought maybe it was something along the line like. I was like, is maybe it's something worth fighting for? But I go, wait, no, that would have been more for a reward challenge. I was having a hard time putting it together, but whatever. I mean, millennials win. Gen X go back to tribal, and we get to this crazy end to this to the show. Even though I feel like we most of us actually kind of saw it coming for Lucy, it
Oh
was the
yeah.
actual ride to get to that point because we seeing this he said she said kind of thing going on camp with Ken because we already saw Ken already upset at the way Lucy talked to him. More of a commanding voice rather than would you like to make a game a play or whatever, would you like to make a move, and we already seen Chris and Brent say they don't like Jessica, so it looks like it might be Jessica if it weren't if this wasn't Lucy's first episode showing up. We might have been fooled into thinking Jessica might go home. Ken tells Jessica what's going on. Jessica right away turns to Lucy. Lucy then kind of confronts him. It's a big old kind of a cluster F. What do you all think of Jessica's reaction to Ken telling her what's going on?
And my respect for Jessica sort of just went down because I really liked her. And then she goes over to Lucy to tell her, and come on, I like Jessica. You're making me rethink my thoughts towards you right now. Oh my god. Why would you go over there? You have the numbers. And just like that, it's like with again, Australian Survivor with Jenna Louise and Matt. When Jenna Louise says, we can make a move, we could be running this game. All right,
Oh,
now
Matt.
just give me a second. I'm gonna go tell Brooke about this. You dumbass! You
Oh,
don't
Matt.
do that. You don't do
So
that.
many things.
So
It's just I don't get it.
Kim actually had posted on Twitter how she didn't like the end of this episode because it was a stupid move by David, and we'll get more into that. But I
Maybe,
like
maybe not.
I like to usually, especially with the players that I personally like. I like kind of playing the devil's advocate and seeing why maybe it was not a bad idea or why it was not a stupid thing for her to do. Mainly because in her, and this is just me thinking here. At that point, Jessica had already made a move with Lucy and with Sunday, and there was no way that in her mind that they would betray her right after they got together and made this move. Yes, Jessica brought it up first, but Lucy is the one that went along with it. She didn't have to go along with getting rid of Paul, right? So for me, all of a sudden hearing someone you made a move with to oust somebody in your alliance, all of a sudden is gunning after you. Um, it kind of doesn't ring true, especially as someone who's on the bottom.
Yeah.
If Ken had gone up to her and say, "Hey, Chris is going after you, Brenton's going after you," that makes a little bit more sense in my mind that they would go after me because I betrayed them, but not someone who helped you do the betrayal, and that's just the way I think. As far as what she was in her state of mind, so I kind of feel I understand what she was going through. I still would have kind of not gone up to so confrontational or so direct, and maybe she didn't do it right off the bat, but that's what it looked like, and she put herself in a bigger hole than she was already to begin with. So, what do you think, Mark?
This it's just a whole big, like, domino effect of bad moves all over the place. I don't even know where to start. Um, I mean, Ken could have kept his cool and just gone along with what Lucy was doing, but it's Ken. It's our Ken doll. I mean, well, he's gonna do him. So, um, but I mean, I would have understood. Um, how I understand why he reacted the way he did, and um going against Lucy, even though the move would have probably helped them. Um, and then everybody was screaming about David's Are we are
Yeah,
gonna go
let's
ahead and talk about Tribal Council?
yeah, let's go ahead and go to tribal council. There's not much left
Yeah,
anyway, so go ahead, David's move.
yeah. David's move to use the idol on Jessica. I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna pull her over to his side. It's definitely gonna you know, uh, mm, I don't know, but whenever she gets voted out, I think David might be first choice for that day 36 advantage.
Yeah. Aaron.
Yeah, I got some thoughts about this. When I was watching it, I thought the whole thing before tribal, he was saying, "Oh, I may have to use my idol," and I'm thinking, "No, no, 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 David, your anxiety's coming back. Just keep your idol. Come on, it's a game for $1 million. You keep it for yourself." Nope, he plays it, and I like how he had to get up in front and just go, "I know nobody's not gonna like this, but I want to use it for Jessica." Thinking, "Oh boy," and then saying, "Wow, Jessica would have gone." And it took. I mean, it was expected that Lucy was going to go because she started talking, but the whole. I didn't expect it to happen that way. Now, as to the logic behind David's move. I mean, we saw little hints of what Jessica thought afterwards. I mean, she immediately, when they were walking back, she said thank you to David. Here's my thinking with uh, David. Yeah, it might be a numbers thing that he's trying to get a number or get somebody on his side, but at the same but then you can always go back on that. I mean, somebody could argue, well, yeah, well, how do you know she's loyal? She could just vote him out the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of glad I went through the secret scenes last week because there might be a little bit of an explanation, a teensy tiny bit of a hint as to why David made the move that he made. And I actually transcribed it for somebody who couldn't watch it because he was in Canada. The video it's called Survive. It's called An Impressive Individual. And Jessica, I'll try and give the Spark Notes version of this. Even though it's a 1 minute and 30-second video. Jessica said in a confessional for last week, mind you. So this is her thinking from whatever that portion of the game was filmed. That really she was just saying that she thinks that the experience is going to be so fulfilling for David and rewarding, and that because he's never done anything close to this, and that there's going to be a change in him, and that he's already overcome so many things, and that he feels that everything is weird. And they're saying, David, this is not weird. You know, we're all out here in the jungle, and that David's probably going to get the most out of this and find something in himself that he never had. And it could be a strength, which also makes him scary. So he might be a force to be reckoned with. And, you know, given his ability to do whatnot and whatnot. So what she's really saying is that of the people on the Gen X tribe, she thinks that David's going to benefit from the experience of being on Survivor the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that you know, he's already learning, because it goes back to what the game is really all about. When you're voted out, you realize, okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, well, somebody else was better than me. You know, you start to notice, like with Nick last season when he was on Ponderosa. If you just watch the video, I mean, he was almost in tears, just thinking that, oh yeah, I've learned about myself, and that, you know, I'm this way and that way. I mean, you learn stuff about yourself, and I think that David, with him, somebody that I'm pretty sure he has some sort of social anxiety. Yeah, he's gonna grow out of it. But just hearing that from Jessica and that confessional, I think it may give us a hint that she might be closer to David than Jessica is closer than Jessica is close to Ken. Like she and Ken may not be close at all. I mean, Ken
Mm-hmm.
ended up voting against Jessica, but maybe Jessica and David have some sort of a bond.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she sounds really genuine in that video, so I think it's really. I think she might. It could be a good move for David if
Yeah.
done correctly. But
Here's
like,
my
it's just really It's really the seventh track on Thriller, Human Nature. So,
here's my thought on this. Why did David do the move? Right. I'm not someone who believes that you need to do a big move to win the game, but you have to make a move. Was this too early? Maybe it's too early to make a move, but let's put it this way: David, Ken, and Cece are the bottom, right? If Jessica goes, they're still in the bottom. If Lucy goes, they're still at the bottom. They don't know that the tribal swap is coming up. For all we know, they might not have a tribal swap. There's been a couple seasons where there's no tribal swap, and people are thinking that there's gonna be a tribal swap, and maybe they might be able to do something when that happens, and it never comes, or it comes too late, right? So you're already trying to survive this game, and by playing it on Jessica, which like you said, they might already have a deeper connection to each other than we've been able to see. How is it? You not only do you save the person you're close to, but now you expose that her old alliance was about to betray her, and you saved her. So now you open up the possibility that Jessica will be loyal to you, may not. I mean, you have no obligation to keep loyal to someone who saved you. But now there's a possibility now that you've gone from being in the minority to now, what is it now, tied now because there's 4 and 4. So at least you've even the odds now. You're no longer in the bottom. Not only that, we have the um, unforeseen what's the word I'm looking for here, um, effect that by doing this, now you might be a recipient of the legacy advantage, even though he didn't know exists, but now he might have an advantage. They're coming to him later on. And in case there is a tribal swap, he might have someone on the other tribe, on the new tribe, to help get people to say, David's a cool guy. We know we can stick with him. Maybe Jessica can help him out and get allies from the other tribe that he might not get on the tribe he goes to. So, like I said before, I like to play devil's advocate with the people I like. Not so much, very much when I don't like the person, but sometimes I also do it. That's just what I'm thinking. I might be totally wrong, and David and Jessica will be just coming to laugh at me if they ever were to hear this, which I doubt. Maybe Jessica, but I doubt.
I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it that way. That the votes. That, yeah, you could have been going, sort of a
Who knows
thing.
about the advantage thus?
I
Only
mean,
Jessica. As far as we know, only Jessica.
we're probably not going to know until the end. But
No, but she's
I
the only
didn't
one
think
that
of it
knows
that
about
way
it.
with But I didn't think of it with David's move that way. That he was trying to show that we've got you covered, sort of a thing. But it's an interesting move. I mean, it's a ballsy move, and to quote Keith Nail, I mean, with Modern Survivor, you have to have ball savviness. And indeed, David does have that. That
Aaron,
was a ballsy
Aaron,
move.
your
Very
vocals are coming in kind of weird right now.
risky move.
Can you hear me?
Mike, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, your vocals are coming in kind of weird.
You're breaking out a little bit.
Okay. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, you're back to normal now. I don't know
Oh,
what was
okay.
there. Yeah.
All right. Well, what I'm trying to say is we really don't. I mean, we're not to. We can't really determine if it's a good move or not. If it's a, if it's out of their closeness or their friendship or whatever bond they may have that we haven't seen yet or whatnot. If he stays in the long run, and it comes to a time where Jessica may not have any numbers, David's always a good guy to come over to because hey, he saved you. But at the same time, with idols, you kind of want to. The goal is you want to try and keep it for yourself. But I was just trying to think of other times where in the pre-merge where a idol was used for somebody else, and the only thing I could think of was Russell using it on Parvati. And in his case, he needed the numbers.
Yeah.
So I mean, we really don't know if it's a good move or a bad. I think it's interesting.
It's TBA.
I really didn't expect it from David. I thought he would play. I was afraid he would. At least he didn't play it for himself.
That would have been bad.
That would have been because his anxiety was starting in that one confessional I mentioned there. He's going, "Oh, I may play my idol," and no, and then he played it, and oh, he's going to use it on Jessica. Okay, well, let's see how this plays out. Wow. Okay. And it got scary when that vote, when it was, okay, one vote was CC. Oh, God. Next person voted out, Lucy. Oh, thank God. So we're guessing that Ken and, David voted for Lucy. No, it was CC and
yeah.
So I will be interested to see how Ken reacts to this, if he's just going to go, WTF.
I don't know if Ken knew about it and decided to go against it, or maybe David just decided to do it there at the tribal council. And I think he might have decided to do it there at the tribal council, hence him doing the hashtag live tribal or bringing up live tribal.
Oh, God, the hashtags were terrible last night.
So, yeah, that's the episode in a nutshell. The consequences are still TBD. Correction on when I said that the tribes the alliances are now even. They're actually up now 4-3 if Jessica decides to join them.
Yeah, that's another point to bring up. But there's going to be the third tribe thing here next week.
So now we're down to 16, right?
Yeah, that's what came to my mind. Like, how are they going to split that up?
So I think someone's going to go to exile.
Yeah, makeshift exile. That's what I was thinking.
They're going to put them on that little island they were doing the challenge on.
Oh yeah, just let the waves hit them and whatnot because
take it away.
Croaks got all mad.
Okay, so let's talk about the players. Any changes on your thoughts on any of these players? Starting with Mark.
I didn't really have an opinion on this guy before, but after tonight, he's pretty much on top of my list. Right at where Zika's at, and that would be Adam. just the whole idol scene, the way it was talking about it, it's just a story that you want to emotionally connect to, and so I think he's gonna be, on top of my rooting list. So
And the thing is
Adam.
that he hasn't shared this story. So if he does make it towards the end, I don't see him being someone who would use that story for to win the game. But someone who knows who he ends up telling the story might use it to help him out. But I don't see him bringing it up to win the game.
He's part of that acting troupe
Hmm.
in high school. He's part of those acting clubs.
I think he was genuine in that scene where he was crying about the idol, though.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
Aaron, any changes in opinion on any of these players?
Maybe a little bit with that. I mean, when I saw the guy's pre-show interview, I thought the guy's super likable. He seems like a nice guy and whatnot, and can't really think with Jessica and her going over and telling Lucy, that brings her down a few notches for me. Even though I still kind of like her, because she does. I don't know. There's just something I really uh, do like about her, and the idea of her being aligned with David. And along with that, I am liking the Ken and David alliance. That it just doesn't. It seems unlikely that the two would sort of have that bond.
Come together.
And with Cece there, that the people on the bottom, maybe on the top, but this tribe swap might be different. But I mean, anybody I'm thinking different. I mean, a little. I with Jessica notches down. Uh, Adam maybe a few notches up. Um, and also with Chris, I don't know, his whole reaction to the whole blind side brought him down a few notches for me.
Yeah, I think that brought him a one notch down for me. The way he reacted and what he said about the rice, because I just feel that that's more of an emotional response if he were even to think about that. Even just thinking about it is very emotional rather than um, strategic, or even just being being someone who's level headed. So um, that brought it down a notch for me. Anyone else? Anyone else you want to talk about, Aaron?
I can't really think of anybody else. Thinking everybody's just sort of
There.
stayed the same, and I think the person who just keeps winning us over week by week. I'm still rooting for David. I think he's doing
Yeah.
good job there, and Michaela is just hilarious.
For
I mean, this was an overall very good episode. I think so far it's probably the best of the season so far.
it's the best episode of the season so far. My For me, people pretty much have only gone up except for that, like I said, one notch down for Chris and his reaction. But people pretty much have only been going up for me. Adam, of course, went up a little bit. Michaela has been going up a little bit every single episode. Just like I said before, her sassiness, her the way she talks is just winning me over. I like her character. Hannah, he keeps getting better for me just because how weird and how awkward she is at times. Um, Good thing we didn't see much of Figgy, much of Michelle this episode. I'm not too sure what I feel about Michelle yet. Figgy had been dropping down, but we didn't see her this episode much. And on the other side, I don't know. I like I said, I like Jessica. I get where she was coming from. It was a bad move from her to go and talk to Lucy, but I kind of feel like I understand what she was coming through, as the from the point of it's hard to kind of not see that someone that helped you betray the alliance is gonna turn on you right away. Um, Other than that, I think season's turning out a little bit better than anyone kind of thought it was going to be when it was first announced. Not one of the best seasons yet, but it is a little bit better than we thought it was going to be. Um, yeah, so that was the episode. Um, any final words, Mark?
Um, I'm interested to see how the treble splits are going to be next week. And until we know how the treble split, all we can do is wait and see.
Aaron?
Well, we already know that there's going to be a third tribe, right?
Yes.
Because the buff is already out, so that means it's okay to say. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays with the new players, because the last time it was used,
It went bad.
it was Cambodia, and it was at the third All Star season. So
That was bad.
I don't with them. I think maybe some of the people had met each other or whatever. With this, where it's newbies and they haven't met each other outside the show, because that's what an all-star season is. Sometimes there's the case of somebody meeting somebody outside. That was more so the case for all stars, which is why it ended up being so bitter towards the end. But it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. We can rule one. One thing for sure, that the genders are not going to be even like they were with Cambodia, because 3 women have gone and 1 guy has gone, which I'm sure Probst is ecstatic about. So yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be the 3 tribes of 5, the 1 other person. They're gonna be exiled, or the least likely case. I don't know when the last time they did this. Probably Vanuatu. You get to choose the tribe you go on. Yeah, they did that with Lisa.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and she chose her old tribe.
And she chose her old tribe, and she didn't last that much longer. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be like with they're going to put her on really makeshift exile. Or they're going to put whoever the person is. Yeah, I don't know what kind. They probably won't have a buff.
No, it's like I think what was her name from Korong, the 19
See,
year
it's
old.
funny that we don't know her name, Julia.
Julia, yeah, she didn't get a buff until she came back, or she might have kept her old buff. I don't know. I don't think she did.
Well, she got the Totang buff.
Oh yeah, because yeah, that's right. That's the way they revealed it. So yeah,
This time it's not going to make any sense, because
yeah, maybe she'll
it's
get us
different.
a tank tub. So yeah, that was the episode. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Mark, for coming. The Twitter handles are on the screen, guys. Mark, what was your Twitter handle?
It's at Marco Polo 310.
Aaron, your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle would be at Aaron_Khan.
We want to thank everyone once again for joining us for this episode. Thank you again for the views. Leave comments. Let us know how we can improve the show. Remember to subscribe and keep tuned for other types of videos that might be coming pretty soon to the channel. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye.